Hello there, welcome. I'm Will from MySpace and we are live from London for yet another MySpace Live video web chat. In a few moments I'll be handing you over to two of Britain's greatest comedy heroes. They're here because this week's actually a very special week for them. It sees the release of their first co-made film, Cemetery Junction, which is out this week on Wednesday, the 14th of April. But before we start, this is how it works. In the chat below this video, you'll see the messages already coming in thick and fast, and you can log in with your MySpace, Twitter, Facebook or AIM login and put any message you like in front of the talent on the couch. So, people of the internet, I'd like you to give an especially warm welcome to the one and only Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchants.
Hello, MySpacers.
I assume they're clapping, going crazy.
They're going.
They are. That was an applause.
Like some sort of breakfast crew.
Yeah. He's enthusiastic.
I like him. I do like him. I like his hair, his little outfit. He's like a little Tim Burton creature.
Do you know
I
what
like
I
him.
thought?
He's very trendy. I didn't think he'd talk like that.
It reminded. I didn't expect that.
No,
it reminds me. Where is Wally?
You know what? I've been losing a bit of weight, and maybe I can get away with horizontal stripes now.
Unlikely.
That's asking too much.
Apparently, they don't make you any wider or thinner horizontal stripes. It's been scientifically proven recently.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's on QI anyway.
Not just a pretty face.
I
Smart
believe
guy as well.
Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
Let's crack on with some questions from
Yes.
fans.
Okay.
Do I read them?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
This one's from Alice. Hello, Alice.
Hi, Alice.
Hello, Alice.
Alice says, "Do you think you'll still work together after making a film?" Blimey, she's already negative. She's already thinking this is the end of the friendship.
I know.
Are you going to bother?
I think this one is aimed more at you though, because I'm happy to work with Steve. It's fun for me. Steve finds it more stressful than me, and I don't know why.
I don't want to air our dirty laundry on the web, Rick. That's for private times.
On MySpace.
On MySpace. Hello, MySpacers.
Hello, MySpace. Don't call it MySpace. It's a little bit selfish. Our-space.
Our-space.
Let's rebrand
Not
it.
our space, though.
No, arse.
No,
oh, yeah.
no.
We said we wouldn't swear.
Well, he started it.
Yeah, he said it first, yeah.
He knows what goes on.
Might break MySpace.
I think the question really is will they will they let us make another film?
Well, that's it.
The problem. We
That's
don't know
the
if
thing.
unless people go and see it, we might be screwed.
We sort of do our own thing. We always have, and with that comes risk. If it turns out well, then you're a hero. If it turns out badly, it's all your fault, and they don't give you any money to make another one. It's going okay at the moment, so we'll have to see. Our next project is actually a TV project.
But don't talk about that.
No, talk about that.
No, because it's film. We want to talk about the film.
Yeah, but they're not going to go. Oh, I'm not going to go and see the film. I'm going to wait a year to sit and watch TV.
Some of them do.
Do they?
Some of them have got hardly any cash.
These people don't watch television. They try and download it illegally the next day.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen Thursday.
Yeah, I've slammed them, haven't I?
No,
Satire.
these people, they've bothered to log on here. It means they're fans. They're going to support. They know they've got to support the British film industry, or there'll be no more films.
Good one.
Is this film about you? Says Helen.
Well, everything you do is sort of autobiographical. I mean, The Office and Extras, that's from real life. This is probably the most personal film, certainly for me. There's nothing more personal than, the place where you sort of grew up and your family, and it's all in there. And it's our romanticised memory of childhood, I suppose. We haven't made a really gritty, depressing kitchen sink slash your wrist sort of British drama. It's more Hollywood does 70s England, really.
Although a lot of you say 70s England, Rick, and it is set in the 70s, but a lot of your MySpacers, our spacers, a lot of them are quite probably younger. They're saying, Rick, this film's not for me. It's set in the 70s. I wasn't born until 1994.
Oh, Steve, they are so mistaken. They're so mistaken because you know what? To me, the attitude of the youth never changes. Yeah, doesn't matter where you was born, what time. It's always let's get out of here.
Exactly.
And that's what it's about. It's about stifled ambition and escape. And I think that comes up, really, wherever you're born and whatever era you're born in, those big themes about freedom and making the most of your life. Everything we've done as well has got that sort of stifled ambition, existential feel to it. The Office, Extras. What else is there really? And also, when you're making a film, we didn't want it to just be a zany knockabout comedy with two blokes, off the telly. I think you can do films like that for the telly, or I think this has got to be a feature film's got to take you on a real emotional journey, and it's got to be beginning, middle, and end. And I think you've got to feel you've gone through something with a movie.
Which is why some people have been surprised that this is a bit more of a drama than the previous stuff we've done. It's not. If people are expecting a sitcom on the big screen, then that's not what we've done. Hopefully, we've described it as a sort of feel-good drama. There's laughs, Rick, if you're a fan of laughs.
There's laughs.
But
there's
there's tears.
Oh,
there's romance. There's punching, fighting for the lads,
drinking,
dancing.
Yeah.
And just a little dose of this guy, Ricky Gervais.
All right.
but just a small dose.
If you hate me, if you logged on because you hate me, because some people do.
A lot of people hate him.
Yeah. A lot of I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. There's just enough for you to go. Oh, he was brilliant.
Mm. Or thank God there wasn't enough more of him because he turned my stomach. So.
There's actually a lot of people on in
He's
the.
Back. He's back.
I like hello, you're right. A lot of people.
I'd like to see him on a little skateboard.
I'd love to see that.
Wouldn't you? With maybe running a mock in a
supermarket or a shopping mall.
It's him again.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's my sausages?
Yeah, the naughty boys in the Beano generally wore black and white stripes.
That was to save money, probably.
That's more like a MySpace skateboard special, though.
Yeah.
Let's not worry about that today. Let's not try and do it.
And we've got Melissa, who's presumably in America, asking, is Cemetery Junction going to be released in the US?
We don't know yet, though. I mean, it's right that this is coming out first in England and for England. It's a very British movie.
But it's a universal story.
Well, it is, but I think people were surprised that The Office was shown around the world and in America and the remakes, because on the face of it, that was really quintessentially English and parochial, but it's not actually. There were huge themes in The Office about boy meets girl. That was sort of a rarity, I think, then in British sitcom, and a decent job of work, making a difference. And these themes are universal. Parents growing up, moving away, trying to make something of your life.
Rock and roll.
Oh, rock and roll.
I've got a question.
That's what we do best. I think.
Got a question from the live chat from Hobob.
Oh, Bob. How are you, mate?
All right.
It's the bobbler.
What is he up to? Let's hear.
He says, Gervais returns to form, says Shortlist. When did you lose form?
Good one, Bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do they mean? Well, you know what? Everything you do, people are going to... hopefully, if you're doing something of worth and you're not doing something that's been done 1,000 times before and it's not anodyne and safe and watered down and trying to be popular for the sake of it, as many people are going to hate it as love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. There are going to be people who think it's the worst thing I've done. Some people think it's the best thing we've done. It doesn't matter, because we make this, first and foremost, for us really, we've only ever done things that we wanted to watch, that we're absolutely happy with.
We're hoping the MySpacers enjoy it.
Oh, listen, Steve, I hope the bobbler loves this film.
I know,
right?
I agree.
But if he doesn't, I don't ever want to hear from the bobbler again.
No, it's a shame. It's a shame because Bob, we got off on such a good foot.
I know, and now he's
already criticising us. He didn't like the film.
Unbelievable.
We'll go and see it. Oh, we don't.
No, he loves it.
What advice, Rick, would you give to an aspiring writer in Britain today? Adam's asked that question. What would you say to Adam? Maybe he's an aspiring writer.
I don't know. I try and say, take control. Don't just write a script and hand it over, because I think you'll be depressed if it doesn't turn out how you like it. This is your vision. If you're writing it, this is your baby, this is your creation. I realise that the only reason we direct and produce is probably to protect the writing. That's the DNA of the piece. And the rest is sort of bringing up baby. And I say, don't rush. Write about things you know about. Write something that's really personal to you.
Like James Cameron with Avatar. But
there was loads of little blue things in his garden. He thought, one day I'm going to put that in a film.
Yeah. But also, one of the great things about sort of, and I wish I had this when I was younger, is that modern technology means that you can get a camera and you can get editing equipment so easily now that if you have written something and you can get a bunch of people together and perform it, act it, make an example of it. Because one thing we were lucky was that we were able to film our original idea for The Office and bring it to life, because it would have been very hard to write in a script, Ricky looks at the camera, this will be funny.
Yeah.
But the fact that we were able to actually film it and show it to people really helped. So I always think that's a good idea.
You can just film your cat falling off a sofa and that'll get 2 million hits on YouTube.
Exactly, so whatever you fancy.
I've got David on the live chat. He's saying, Dave. Steve, he's obviously on good terms with you.
Yeah.
We need, in capital letters, you back on radio with Sammy and Rufus.
Well,
Right,
yeah,
David.
but unfortunately Six Music is being closed down, as you may know. You may have heard about that.
Axed.
But I think it may come back in a different form, apparently. But yeah, the problem with radio is it's a big commitment. You know, you've got to be there every week, and you know, much as I like playing music to people, now I've found that I get similar pleasure by just giving people a lift home and playing CDs in my car. It tends to be, it's harder, because it's obviously a four-seater
He has
car.
frightened a lot of homeless people by just saying, get in.
Exactly.
Have you heard these? They're called the Monks. They're from Luton.
Exactly. So, but the problem with I thought, well, I just get 4 people in the car. But of course, when I put my seat right back in order to be able to fit behind the steering wheel,
flat person.
It becomes like a 2-person car.
Yeah.
A flat one, yeah.
Well, I'd say the reason we sort of did the podcast initially was because we didn't want to keep going off, you know, our show for like 6 weeks at a time to film stuff, and you know, we still do that. They're all out there, the podcast and the audiobooks, myself, Steve, and Karl. Not the threesome we mentioned, but a different threesome.
That's good, Alex.
And also, I do miss playing music on the show, but now I link on my blog to a tune every night.
Oh, that's sweet of you.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
like a little
yeah.
bit of, lovely radio. I love radio. We may return one day.
I want to answer Katie's question.
Go on.
She says, Steve, what's it like being so goddamn cool?
Okay, yeah.
Well, Katie...
well, it
it's
says
a tough-
Katie,
it's
but
tricky.
I know
It's
for a fact
tricky.
that you sent that one in. Definitely.
What's Will writing there? If you go back
I think Steve is pretty cool.
Thanks, mate.
Because you know that thing where you look at someone and go, oh look, he's so uncool. He must be cool. Like he doesn't care. He doesn't care about how he looks or how he sort of walks or how he walks into a room. Usually cracks his head straight away. That kills me every time. So you think, wow, he doesn't care. He must be. He's not cool. He's a bit of a geek.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
That started so promising.
I know. Yeah.
I didn't. You know, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't surprised it ended the way it did. If you could go back to the 70s for a day, what would you do, mate?
I'd probably go back.
Will ask that question.
I'd probably go back to 1970, actually. In our, I think it was a science class, where Tom Potts shat himself. That was the best day of the year. I couldn't believe it because he just went, oh no, what? He went, I shit myself. And it was the funniest thing I've ever experienced.
That's what you do with time travel. See, I'd go back and warn people about the Khmer Rouge.
I think when people go, oh, I wish I could go back to the 70s and, put £1,000 on red rum, they mean they wish they were rich. That's what you're wishing for. Never mind the big machine.
Why this elaborate thing?
Exactly, yeah. Just go, oh, do the lottery.
Yeah.
Do the lottery and hope you win. What would I do?
The 70s. Crazy days.
Probably go back and floss. That would have been a good one.
I'd like to go back and see some of the great music from that period.
Good one, Steve.
David Bowie, Led Zeppelin in their prime.
Maybe some of the people that are no longer with us.
Who are you thinking of? Richard Nixon?
No.
Specifically
Music. Yeah, like
Elvis.
Elvis.
Could see
Brilliant.
Elvis, yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
Ricky, if you're a fan of Led Zeppelin or David Bowie or Oxy Music or Elton John, is there a film that's coming out soon that features music by those brilliant names?
There's one film that features all those great artists at length, and it's called Cemetery Junction.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and it's out on the 14th of this month.
It's
Wednesday.
I'm not sure Scott Hansen knows who you are because he says, "Ricky, do you ski?"
I don't. I never have.
You've got one question you can ask Ricky Gervais.
Don't have a go at Scott Hansen.
Do you ski?
He's probably into skiing, and he thought, oh, I wonder if I'll meet Rick on the slopes one day. No, you won't.
Anyway, I've thought about skiing. A lot of people, friends of mine, said it's great fun, but I know I would snap instantly.
Oh, you'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be incredible. It would be like some sort of weird art, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Steve coming down with... Because I don't know if you've seen Steve in his slippers. It looks like he's wearing skis anyway. Tell him what size feet.
14.
14 feet.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
US 15. For those
Dutch, huge clogs.
Felicity on the live chat, she asks, have you ever been to Maidstone? It's my cemetery junction.
Have we been to Maidstone? I don't know if we have. That's Kent, isn't it? I've been to Kent.
Well, I'm presuming she means that she feels it's the sort of small town. Maybe she feels some same sort of oppression that a lot of people... That's one of the...
England is made of small towns like that. There are more Readings and Sloughs and Maidstones than huge metropolises, really, and that's where most people live. And as we said before, there's one of those everywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be, you know, your town, but I think everyone identify with that feeling of escape. It doesn't have to be a bad town, you know. There's idyllic towns, but if you're 18 and you've lived in that town for 18 years and you see the same 100 people every day, you want to sort of just spread your wings a little bit.
Yeah,
Not literally, that would be mad. If you had wings, you'd have probably been flying by now.
Hey, here's one from Jordan on the live chat. Ricky had his feature directorial debut recently. Are we to expect a solo directorial debut for Steve sometime in the near future?
Well, maybe sometime. You know, I mean, I've often said, you know, there's only a matter of time before Ricky, well, either retires or has a massive heart attack, and I mean that in the best sense. You know, I'm on your side. I'm hoping that you.
Well, I'm trying to combat that. I'm trying to combat that, aren't I?
No, I know he's working out, and that's really good.
Working out,
really good,
running, yeah.
But you know, I've often thought, you know, it's a long haul. It's a long haul, this career. You haven't got to rush into anything. You know, take it slowly. That's why I've only really been involved in 3 projects in the last 12 years, all of with him. All of them.
Well, I think you will. I probably will retire before you. I'm already getting a bit fed up.
Not just specifically because of this web chat.
No, but also I started late, I suppose. That's why I've been going crazy and probably had my fingers in more pies than you. I was going to say not literally, but I have had my fingers in a lot more pies than you as well. But then I didn't get a proper job till I was about 28, and I didn't start in this till I was 37, and I didn't start working out till I was 47. So it's never too late, kids.
This seems like an intelligent question from Luke Gray. He says, hey fellas, what happens when one of you suggests an idea which the other person isn't too fond of? I presume it's a rarity, but say Steve felt the scene needed more pathos and Ricky wanted to add more humour. You know, how do you decide?
Well, we sort of have a simple rule, really, and that's one veto and it's out. So you don't have to give a reason. If you don't like it, it's you know, out the window. And if it's your idea, you can use it in something else, your stand-up or a thing that you're doing by yourself. It is a rarity because we've been together 12 years, and even when we started working, I mean, if we sat in a room for 8 hours a day, 7.5 hours were us just talking about things we loved and hated. So we found, you know, a real sort of interpersonal space to exist in on all our projects. And we really think carefully about our next project, you know, what it's going to be, and we have the same sort of we see eye to eye on most things, but that stops arguments, and it also means that what we're left with The Office and Extras and Cemetery Junction is a piece of work. Every second of it, we both love. There's nothing in that I go, oh, I knew he shouldn't have put that in. So that really works for us. So yeah.
Alex Leach on the live chat asks, is this film Saturday Night Fever meets Train Spotting?
That's pretty good.
Wow.
That'd
be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's not quite as gloomy and heavy as Trainspotting. I mean, that was a pretty dark film. We've tried not to make something quite as intense as that. You know, hopefully it's a bit lighter. Like we said, it does have humour, but certainly for instance, Trainspotting and Saturday Night Fever were both films which kind of sought out new talent. You know, and Trainspotting in particular, it was all sort of new faces, and that's something we were proud of doing in this film. Is, you know, Ricky's in it and I'm in it briefly, but and although we've got Ray Fiennes and Emily Watson and Matthew Good, actually the main characters are 4 new people who are kind of sort of probably unfamiliar. And Future stars, exactly. And we were really excited. We were trying to look for people like, you know, the new John Travolta or the new Ewan McGregor, and you know, it's hard. It's hard to find those people because.
They don't really exist here, really, those people. We probably all auditioned about 1,000 people to get these guys, and of 1,000 people, of 20-something actors in England, 500 of them will play Mr. Darcy one day, and the other 500 will be in a gritty gangster movie going, you slag, or in EastEnders. And so we really hunted high and low to find these, you know, these film stars, these British film stars.
Did you set out to find new talent specifically?
Yeah. Oh, well, because we couldn't think of anyone that was like that. We've got it in our rock stars. We've got it with, you know, Liam and Richard Ashcroft, and you know, I mean, we've got and Tom's very like those. He's sort of. In fact, some of the direction we'd say was more Gallagher, a bit more Ashcroft.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because
we
rule the
that
world.
Swagger, that rock and roll swagger that
exactly,
Mick Jagger had, and
but our actors are usually either sort of posh and you know, or agree, you know.
Yeah.
So
we didn't want them to be wet, but we didn't want them to be, like Ricky says, the traditional, you know, working class hard men or the sort of posh fops, and it's hard to find those people. But I think we did. We're very proud of them.
On the subject of music, Derek asks on the live chat, Ricky, when will you release your debut album?
That would be amazing.
What will that be then? So that'll be Free Love Freeway by David Brent. If you don't know me by now, David Brent's version. I always try and sneak a song in. We did it in the office. Co-wrote a song with David Bowie for extras. That was fun.
Yes.
Snuck one in The Simpsons. I did one with Elmo. So yeah, I suppose my days as a failed pop star, I sort of get it out of my system, ironically, these days. But it's still nice. I still strum the old guitar. Steve's learning guitar, isn't he?
I'm trying to learn the guitar, but I'll probably focus. I'm still focusing on the debut hip hop album.
Yeah.
So want to get that nailed down.
Yeah. What are you going to be singing about there? Just
life, tough life.
Just like going to Waitrose.
That, you know, and then...
They didn't have a chicken sasher, so I had to have...
It doesn't open until 10 on a Sunday.
Oh, no. You're joking.
Stuff like that. I was coming back
the glasses fell off, motherfucker.
Yeah. Came back to my house, and there was some teenagers outside, looked a bit surly. So I waited for... I just hid
around the wall.
Wait for them to leave.
Yeah.
That's...
Ain't nothing but a gangster party.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off.
Exactly. So, yeah. Talking of music, Katie says, do you like JLS?
Well, she's gone for a very specific yes or no question there.
As opposed to kind of, what music do you like?
Yeah, no, we just got to answer yes or no. Yes.
Yeah, brilliant.
I like them.
I'm not really familiar with JLS.
They're good, clean lads. Wish them luck.
One of them wears a bow tie, I seem to remember. Bow ties are very trendy now. See, I chose to wear a bow tie voluntarily when I was about 15 to school.
Can you imagine that?
Wasn't as cool in those days. Whereas
I'd
now,
like to have seen these two going down the street together.
Oh, wow.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
What a gang that would have been.
Yeah. You go, I will not partake of the skateboard, it is dangerous. You go, oh, you're such a square, and he's doing things, and you're going,
Yeah, this question started off quite profound, but I'm not slagging off Cab,
This is a
Radio,
big one,
Last
this.
Dance, Fog, but are sausages important in your life?
That's not a code or a euphemism.
No, I
is
think
it?
they mean, are you a fan of sausages?
You know what? I've always been a fan of sausages. In fact, I've been trying to be healthy since Christmas. That's about £14 now. Thanks for asking.
Well done,
And I've tried to rule them out of my life a little bit. I think the 2 days before I went trying to be healthy, I had 11 sausages. Thoughts on that?
When did you have 11 sausages?
When Karl and Suzanne were around, and Jane made sausage and mash, and I...
11 sausages?
11. It was, I couldn't stop eating them.
That's madness.
Oh, I felt ill, really bad, and I felt really bad that day. And I had to lay there for a couple of hours with company, like a snake, to try and digest it.
Just dropping them in and letting them slide straight down?
Like a foie gras goose.
Yeah. I think that's how those sort of sauce, you know, those Frankfurt eating competitions that they have, or hot dog eating competitions they have in the States. I think that's how they do it.
Yeah.
That's disgusting, Rick.
I know.
When was this?
It was just after Christmas. It was just a few days before I thought, right, that's ridiculous. I think I hit 14 stone and thought, that's that. I just got fatter from 29. I've just been putting on weight since I was 29 till last year.
Well, if you carry on like that, then to go back to that question, will I be making something on my own soon? Yes, because that heart attack has got me in the post. You can't eat 14 sausages.
I've turned it round.
Well, good. I'm pleased.
I've turned it round at the last minute.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes. So you see, sausages are a big part of everyone's life.
I would say.
And here's another very profound question on the live chat from Jenna. Hello, Jenna. She says, and this is to both of you, would you rather have your face and body but the brain of a chimp, or be a chimp with your human brain?
Well, there's no doubt about it, isn't it? Because you wouldn't have the same identity. So the answer's got to be, from a human point of view, that you'd have to choose the chimp with the human brain.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was the answer.
Talking to Karl Pilkington. There was...
what would you do if you were a chimp but you had your human brain? What hijinks would you get up to?
If I was what? A chimp with a human brain?
Yeah, just, you know, because you couldn't talk, but you could sort of like point stuff out and maybe read a book. I don't know.
Well, I'd openly masturbate at the zoo.
Cheers, kids.
Safe in the knowledge that no one can get me on
You
it.
could be his little pet monkey, but you'd be called Professor Monkey, and he'd use you to cheat in school. You go, Professor Monkey, what's that? And you go, multiple choice. You go, And he'd get an A and they go, "Oh, well done, Waldo. You got an A again." They go, "Come on, pet monkey. Come on, Professor Monkey. Don't tell anyone."
Can I speak, or have I still got to communicate like a chimp?
You got, and he goes, "Oh no." He goes, "Oh no, biology." And he gets an A, and you don't get credit. And you just
Is that what schools are like now? You can take a chimp into class?
Yeah.
You're allowed one animal in exams.
In
now,
exam, yeah.
Waldo, why's your monkey masturbating again? Because it's Stephen Merchant's.
And he just loves multiple choice. James Seago says,
Sure.
How long did this film take to make, and what caused the most difficulties in writing and filming it? Most difficulties?
Well, you always, when you go back to start from scratch, it's sort of like childbirth. You forget the pain and anguish. And I think it just gets better and better, really. It gets easier. The more work you put in, the easier it gets.
I think the hardest thing, though, that we discovered is the difficulty of telling a story in an hour and a half. I thought that was going to be a lot easier than it was. And with sitcom, you slightly forget that you actually can introduce the world, and then over a couple of series you can lay out the wares, you can let people get to know the characters, and then ultimately you can conclude it and pay it off. And it's a much, much slower, easier way of doing it. With an hour and a half, you've got to come in, you've got to hit the ground running, introduce the world, set everyone up, start the ball going, and then, resolve it all very quickly. And that's actually really tricky.
A boring 10 minutes in a film is too long.
Yeah, you really are aware of it. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But we've probably had it on the back boiler for 3 years. I mean, when we were writing it, we wrote 2 other films, really. We started again. The only thing we had was that Bruce Springsteen lyric that was the influence on it. It's a town full of losers, and we're putting out here to win. We always came back to that theme. But I'd say 3 years in the making.
Yeah.
I've got Ben Christian on the chat.
Sure.
He's asking, and this isn't necessarily for you, Ricky, but who would win in a fight, David Brent or Andy Millman?
Andy Millman, I think. Although David Brent would try harder.
I think watching.
David Brent would sort of, he'd train and secretly train. Andy Millman would be embarrassed about doing it. I think Andy Millman probably. I think Andy Millman would probably win.
Yeah. I'm just. I know there's a lot of people asking about Karl Pilkington.
Yeah. I like it when Steve leaned forward to squint at the computer. I always like being the opposite end of that. This is. Ladies, if you ever, were to meet Steve and maybe have a night of passion, this is what you'd see bearing down on you.
Would you ever do a musical?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the idea for High School Musical years ago. I'm sure I told it to you.
Really?
Yeah, I had the idea for that.
Everyone's got one of those. I've got one of those.
So frustrating.
We were in Hungary years ago, about 15 years ago, and I went around this old Victorian museum, and I thought, wouldn't it be good if all these things came to life? And that's true.
Isn't that?
And I started writing it. I did a few, and I forget it.
Yeah.
And that's weird, isn't it?
Would you take your arm down from there? Because when I lean back, it's going to look like we're making out in the back row of the movies.
Well, only if I stick my face against yours.
All right. Well, I'm just. That's
it's a bit weird. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all.
Two gentlemen friends being intimate. But you know what? Let's not do it on camera. We don't do it. We don't do it at all. We never. I mean,
you're digging yourself a hole there.
Yeah. Oh, euphemism.
Hey, Melissa's on the live chat and asking, should I go to work or keep watching this?
Definitely go to work.
Go to work.
Definitely go to work. Yeah.
I mean, she might be a nurse or a paramedic.
Yeah.
She'll be here any minute. She's just watching a live web chat with Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant.
Yeah, one of those people who takes organs to operation.
Yeah, it's thawed out a little bit. His kidney's warm. Is it okay?
Yeah.
We were going to warm it up anyway.
But I do know what Ricky Gervais would do if he was Prime Minister. That was a question, actually. What would you do if you were Prime Minister?
I'd immediately go grey before my years. I'd age 10 years in the first year in office. That's what they usually do. It's a thankless task. I'd never take it. You cannot win. So kids, don't become the Prime Minister, is my advice.
Who are you voting for in the next election, do you know?
But it's my democratic right to keep that confidential.
BNP, then.
No, he doesn't. You don't even.
I think
really bothered
I think I voted when I got the vote at 18. I couldn't believe it, and then the novelty wore off.
I might spoil my paper.
I've done that by accident just because I was eating.
Sure, yeah. Oh, blimey. My boyfriend just
He
adopted...
just gave the BNP a plug. Why would he do that?
I'm trying to convince our viewers not to vote for.
I think he's trying to be
ridicule
rock and roll.
Really?
And, a bit maverick, a bit cool, a bit edgy. Trying to make MySpace a little bit more edgy.
Sure.
And
What do you think of his attempt?
I think if you need cool and edgy, stick with us. My boyfriend just adopted me a panda for my birthday.
Excellent.
If you could adopt an animal, what would it be?
Well, I do adopt a few here and there. I like all animals, to be honest. I think all animals are unconditionally perfect and beautiful. So adopt any animals you can. Obviously, particularly the ones that are near extinction. There's some sort of like species of like leopard. There's like 75 left in the world. So yeah, adopt animals. When I say adopt them, don't sort of bring them home and dress them up. That's mad and wrong and dangerous. If it was, say,
Tiger.
Yeah, good example, Steve.
Thank you, mate. From watching previous work, behind-the-scenes snippets and biographies and music seems to be an important part of your lives.
Yes.
But hasn't particularly been the main focus of your directing work, although music does seem to be integral in Cemetery Junction.
It really is.
Pears says that.
It's one of the greatest perks of being a sort of writer, director, producer. You choose the music and we really we make it integral. I mean, there's songs that we've built whole montages and scenes around before we even had permission. Like the opening credits is around a particular song. We play the whole of the Rain song, which we cut the film to, and then had to get permission. There was no plan B. If Led Zeppelin had said no, I remember we sent them a nice begging letter. And,
you'd have been singing it.
Yeah, my version.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really important. I think it was, I don't know, but my first love before comedy or film or anything. And I'm in awe of music. Nothing moves me quite like music. So just a chord can make you get a lump in the throat. And I like it's not all rock and roll. We feature my favourite piece of music of all time in this, which is a piece by Vaughan Williams. It opens with a piece from Vaughan Williams. It's absolutely beautiful, and it just conjures up England, and we're trying to show how beautiful England is as well.
But also, music is just so. You forget. Even people. I met a woman recently who said, "I hate music."
I don't understand
which
that.
is baffling.
I don't understand that. People say I hate animals. People say I don't like animals.
Bizarre.
What do you mean don't like? What do you mean you don't like animals?
But that's the thing: is music, whether you like it or not, it's everywhere, and it informs so many of my memories are associated.
But it
with
nearly
particular
doesn't
songs.
make sense. I don't like music. That's really weird.
It's so strange. You've got to go out of your way to not like music. Sure.
There are some people that say I don't really like humour. I don't
like jokes.
I know. Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it?
Or Karl Pilkington said I don't like fun. Well, he's true.
That
he doesn't
makes
like
sense.
fun.
Yeah. Well, he thinks that he doesn't know what's fun until
He
after
doesn't
the
trust
event.
it. He doesn't trust this feeling that he has of happiness. We were doing a podcast of Guide to Philosophy, and we were sort of pondering Robert Nozick's model of supposing you could get into a virtual sort of float tank with a pre-scripted perfect life. You do your perfect life, and then you get in there, and you'd have that perfect life through, virtually. And we were trying to say, well, Karl, what's your perfect life? And he thought about it, and he kept coming back to everything's all right. And he ended up saying his perfect life is the exact life he's got now, but where his boiler would work. I really don't think he was getting the most out of it. And he actually said he's never enjoyed anything at the time because he was nervous. Like he said, for example, I was on holiday. They said, try this bit of fish. I thought, I'll have that bit of fish. Right? He said, now, I was eating the fish, but I wasn't enjoying it. He said, because I don't know what it was going to do to me the next day. Next day came, it was fine. So I thought, oh, that bit of fish was nice. I went, did you have it again? He went, no, you shouldn't return to it. So not only, when he finds something he liked, in retrospect, he wouldn't return it. There's only one thing that he likes at the time, and he often has it.
Munches?
Munches. That was it. So that's his perfect happiness. Yeah. Munches.
Some chocolate munches.
Probably could get sponsored by Munch's, couldn't he? For
Talking
all
of
the
Karl,
mentions.
does Karl Pilkington make an appearance in the film? And if so, has it been cut out, like in The Invention of Life?
No, he's in the film, and it's a little featured cameo. He hasn't got a line, but it's quite a nice integral little shot of him, and it's in the film. And
that was your best day ever.
It was my best day ever. It was my best day ever because I phoned him and said, "Karl, do you want a little cameo?" And he went, "What is it?" I said, "He's just got to appear a function in the film." He went, "All right." He said, "What's for lunch?" I said, "Pork chops." He went, "Okay, I'll be down in 20 minutes." He came, he had his pork chops, he was having fun, and we dressed him up. And at one point, he put this little wig on, and I think he sort of felt disguised and protected.
Yeah, he had a fake moustache.
And then, just before the shot, they took the wig off to adjust it, and he looked amazing. And I said, "No, you can't have it." And he was trying to get the wig back on, and everyone was looking at me laughing. And he looked at me and he said, "This is like a dream." So, he looked like a little, you know those baby birds that fall out the nest? Like, it was like that. He was just scared, just caught in the headlights. And yes, there's a big picture of it on my blog, actually. Most of my blog is pictures of me and my weird shaped friends that I've taken on the iPhone. The iPhone's good. iPhone and Munches.
Another sponsor.
Just another question on Ed's is asking about Karl as well. Do you think Karl is having fun travelling the world?
He's not having fun, but that's the point.
We should just make it clear that we've sent Karl around the world to experience various exotic places, and that's for a documentary that will be on later in the year. And he's been to Brazil so far. He's been to India. Didn't enjoy that one.
He's been to Brazil, Egypt, and India. He's seen the Seven Wonders. It's called Karl Pilkington Seven Wonders. It's for Sky. Now, first one was Egypt. Oh yeah, he went to the Great Pyramids. Not impressed. He said it's a bad design. Right? The lounge is going to be massive, but the bedroom's going to be tiny. Idiot.
Yeah.
Went to Rio next. I called him, and he went, "I could have done without the gay nudist beach."
Yeah.
He said, because I was sitting down, so when people came out to talk to me, he said their tackle was right in my face. So I look forward to that. And he went to India, and on camera, he said, "This is the worst place on earth."
That's pretty extreme.
Yeah. You don't get that with Palin, do you, or Alan Wicker? Man's a fool.
Rick, there's not much time left.
Oh.
Is that right? I'm right in saying that. So should we go through some of these quickly? Will Welsh says, "Are you having a laugh?" How many people asked this?
Just you.
What? No, I can't understand. Don't even understand the question. What can we look forward to with regard to the Flanimals animation?
Me voicing a big, fat, sweaty waddle gimp called the Puddlerflage, and some big name stars, and maybe this fella. He might get a little part in it. And Karl. Karl would be good, wouldn't he? Go on.
It's animation, though. It's not. We're not playing these in the flesh.
Just your voice.
Benjamin says, "What are your plans after this?" My mum's cooking me some food, so I'm gonna pop back.
He doesn't live with his mum. She's up visiting him. He's not a nerd.
No. In these pre-office days, did you ever get depressed knowing you had all this talent but no recognition or offers? Says Lucius.
I didn't. I wasn't sitting around going, "When am I going to be the world's biggest comedian?" No, I don't think so. I always had sort of like some sort of creative outlet. But when it happened, I just couldn't believe my luck, and I pretty much clung on to it, knowing that I was very, very lucky.
Why is Stephen lucky enough to be treated relatively nicely when Karl and Robin and Nigel, along with myriad of other random creatures, get various parts of them squeezed and mistreated, says Amy?
The bits I squeeze are usually sort of above the neck on people. Let's make that clear. And Stephen is usually out of reach. And also, I think it's because he ruled it out very quickly. He nipped it in the bud. He said, I don't do that, so I don't... He's not cuddly. Do you know what I mean? I remember once, one of the first times we worked together, I was his boss, and we were working on the XFM radio show, and people used to drop off all these things, companies, promotional goods. And there was one that gave us this big balloon, and it was full of like Rice Krispies, and that was a promotional thing. And it was sort of there above that. And Steve was sort of typing once, and I just went over and popped it and covered him in Rice Krispies, right? Which I thought was the funniest thing in the world, right? I think I was 39 at the time, right? And Steve, who probably wasn't as cool as he is now. You're a bit of a freak.
In those days.
Yeah.
Imagine.
And it just covered him, and he just went like this. He went, well, now you've got to clear that up. Which I found even funnier.
Yeah, but you did have to clear it up.
I did. But I was crying with laughter as I was clearing it up and taking it out of your keyboard.
Yeah, but I think I don't think I gave you enough of a reaction.
No.
Because you didn't really do stuff like that afterwards.
No.
I think you were looking for real annoyance. And this is the weird thing about this relationship, is that despite the fact he's, 10 years older than me, I was often for a long time the adult. I say it for a long time. I think so. Often the adult.
I think it's what. Yeah, I think that's what drove the dynamic. And also, I was the laziest person in the world. I remember once when we were writing, and Steve said, "Look, we've got a lot of work to do." He said, "Don't have too many sausages at lunchtime," wasn't it? And I
actually fell asleep that day.
Yeah, because there was jumbo sausages in the BBC canteen. You meant to have one. I said I can handle two, and I had two. He said, "Don't eat two, Rick." And I did fall asleep, didn't I, when we were writing?
Yeah, he fell asleep under the table. I didn't realise he was asleep, and we were writing away, and part of the script, and I was reading out this bit that we'd written, and part of it involved someone knocking on the door. So I knocked on the table as I was reading it out, and he woke up thinking someone was coming in the office, banged his head on the side of the table.
Oh dear, just like Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah.
Someone actually asked earlier on the live chat, are you concerned that Karl Pilkington is going to become a bigger star stateside than you guys?
I want him to. I want him to be the biggest star in the world. I want him to be not just a star, but like an idol that people worship. Just little round things that is like like
they put on their dashboard.
Exactly, like Christianity uses a cross. It's just a little round orange sort of circle. Because I know he'll hate it. I just know he'll hate it.
Apart from Leonardo DiCaprio, was there anyone you wanted for extras that you didn't get? Anyone that you approached, told you to bugger off and shove it up your arse? Says Jack Lovejoy.
There was only one person who said no, and that was Keith Harrison Orville.
Yes. Yes. And I think Sid Little, didn't he say no as well?
Oh yes, he did. Yeah, I think it was a bit too much for him. He thought. Yeah.
Was it after seeing a bit of the script that they were in?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, I usually pitched it to him over the phone before we wrote it, and but no, he wasn't. He wasn't into it. Orville was up for it.
Oh, Orville would have been.
I don't know speak anymore over
that. Carol says, if you could pick the brain of any fictional character, who would you choose and why? Now, does that mean like that you could have the brain, or
Sherlock Holmes, or
what? And have it for yourself?
God,
God, I think. We asked Karl a question. If God exists, what would you want him to say to you when you got to heaven? And Karl went, "Is that how it works?" What do you mean? He said, "Well, he wouldn't be on the door, would he?" I went, "No. You go out to his office." And Karl said that he'd say to God, "Well done with the world and that, but I think you've put in too much water."
Hey, wow, this is a big question. What are the best things in life?
What are the best things in life? First thing I thought of there, sausages. But I'm off
I thought that might be the answer.
I don't know. A mother's tears, maybe a baby's laugh. Although Karl said that was the most frightening thing. When we asked him a question. We were doing the questions from inside the Access studio. We said, "What sound do you hate?" And he went, "A baby laughing would do me head in." I went, "Why?" He said, "If I had a kid and Suzanne was out, and I'd put it to bed, and then I woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of a baby laughing," he said it would freak me out. I think he's thinking of like Chucky, just sitting up going, unbelievable. The best things in life. Well,
they're free.
Freedom. Well, no, freedom is surely.
That's important.
Surely. In every aspect. Freedom of speech, freedom to live a good life the way you like it. As long as you don't hurt anyone, kids, and floss.
Yeah.
We've got time for just a few more questions, so do keep your questions coming in thick and fast. A few people asked earlier, I don't know if there's any truth in this, Stephen, in a recent interview that you hinted at a secret crush for Nadine from Girls Aloud. Any truth in that?
I was being flippant. I'm a fan of all Girls Aloud.
Who is it?
Even the ginger one.
Yeah.
No, she's,
Well, don't say even. There's probably ginger.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, and including the ginger one. No, it's just so, I got very ginger beard, and lots, you want two ginger people get together, you can have ginger offspring, who might inevitably be bullied. So you've got to be careful. You've always got to think this thing through. But, I'm not just, a girls' allowed is not just for one night, all right? They're for life.
You know, Karl said he thinks it's actually only in England where that happens.
I know,
in America,
it's weird,
they don't get the jokes. Like they quite rightly, they think, well, what's up? There's obviously nothing wrong with it. But Karl thinks that even ginger cats get bullied by other cats.
Why do you think it is that the ginger thing is?
I don't know. I thought it was. Isn't there a reference to the Bible or something?
Is there?
Wasn't
Judas was
wasn't
ginger?
Judas ginger?
No, what are you talking about? It's
Well,
the Middle East. They're not ginger people around there, are they?
Well, that's why he stood out like a sore thumb.
Clearly.
I have no idea why I said that. I don't know if that's true or not.
I wondered if it was something to do with the old Scottish-English rivalry. Obviously, all Scottish people are sort of, ginger-haired. I wondered if that was anything to do with that. Maybe one of these MySpacers will let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you can. Someone asked earlier, Stephen, has Ricky let fame go to his head? Does he only hang out with A-listers these days?
People often say to me, has Ricky changed since he got famous? No, he was always a cunt. What advice, Rick, would you give to people who want to get into the business?
Don't. do something useful. Train to be a doctor or a lawyer.
When was the first moment that you thought, I'm famous? Because you were on the 11 o'clock show. That was the first time I saw you.
I was always worried about that. I was always worried about the word that didn't want to be lumped in with those people who do anything to be famous, just live their life like an open wound. Fame per se is nothing and largely pointless, and it usually only has detrimental effects, to be honest, But I suppose I knew I was a face. I mean, the first time someone asks you your autograph, you think, oh, but that, I think everyone's famous to that degree these days. I suppose winning the Golden Globes was the freakiest because that made the real news, not just the entertainment news. It was on front covers of. That was a bit weird, and I was glad I wasn't here when that happened. I was still in America. I was doing some work, but I think the important thing is know what you're doing it for. If you're doing it to chase fame, well, then you can do anything really. You can do horrendous things to be famous. There's no difference between fame and infamy if that's all you want. But I think you've got to love what you're doing. You've got to know why you're doing it, and we do it for the work and the creative process. And fame is an upshot of what we do. If you're an actor and you're a successful actor, then you're probably famous. But that shouldn't be the driving force. And I'm probably much prouder of being a writer and a director than I am an actor in many ways. But it all comes as a package, really. And joking aside, the advice would be try and control your own destiny, own your own labour, be in charge, walk away if it's not right. Don't compromise. Don't think, if I compromise 1,000 times, then I'll get something I'm good at. Because those things stay with you and they stay around, they hang around. There's no rush either. Don't think you have to be famous by 23 or it's all over. Unless you're in a boy band, that's just simply not true. And find your own voice and do something you're passionate about. Don't do anything for the sake of it. Do something that you want to get off your chest. That's what I'd say. Steve, anything to add to that?
Well, I just want to ask you a question from Jensen's Beard. Have you ever thought about having a facelift?
No. I don't even like going to the doctors when I'm seriously ill. So the point of voluntarily going under the knife where you might die because your face is saggy, well, that's age, that's gravity. I mean, it's crazy. These people that have these things that have ribs out and, just unbelievable. Who cares?
Do you remember that story, which is obviously a myth, about Prince having ribs removed so he could suck his own? Yeah. Why are you looking sheepish? It's not something you're considering?
No, I'm just worried about you've just said.
Well, it's obviously nonsense.
That's good.
It's patently nonsense, isn't it?
Can he not suck his own?
Sure.
No, probably not.
Ribs are in the way.
You know what? Hobbob is on the Bobbler.
Oh, again?
He's on the chat and he's clarifying the ginger issue. He's saying red hair was thought to be a mark of beastly sexual desire and moral degeneration.
From when, though?
I don't know. He doesn't really.
The 1980s?
Yeah, yeah. Since Mick Hucknall. When though? That's what we're.
Yeah, I've absolutely no idea. He doesn't really go any further than that. If you've got any more info for us, mate, do clarify it in the few minutes.
Bob Meister, sloppy work. Thanks for the effort, but get back to us. You've got 30 seconds.
Get back on Wikipedia.
Fard says, when The Office started, a video chat like this was still science fiction. Yes. Yeah. Not strictly a question, but yes.
No, it is. No, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
amazing, isn't it?
This last 10 years, it feels like the future. When I look back, just how remarkable and technology is, and you know, the internet, just the mobile phones, just incredible. I don't know how we survive without a mobile phone. I call people. Well, on the way to meet a mate, I call them 3 times, and then I guide them in. Where are you? I'm around this corner.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see you. What happened before?
You used to have to make plans.
I know. Yeah, yeah. No, it is incredible, and I think it's exponential. People said, like, you know, in 1900 that everything that is to be invented has already been invented, and how wrong they were. And I think the same. I mean, we really still haven't seen the fruit of the computer age. I just think it's getting faster and faster because of computers. Now, you know, it's. I can't think where it's going to end. I cannot think where it's going to end. Although, let's leave the iPod as it is. I think it's perfect.
It is perfect. Yeah.
I said that about the Walkman.
You know what? We've got time for just one more question. I want you to choose. Well, I want you to choose a question from the live chat. Before we do, fortunately, Hobbob is back on the chat.
Go on.
He's got a bit more info. It was the ancient Greeks, mate.
Oh, I knew it was a long time ago. See, Greeks, they're gingers, the Greeks.
Yeah.
Where'd they come from then? They must have walked from Scotland.
Makes sense.
Doesn't make sense. It's mental.
No.
Get a train.
Rubbish. I'm sorry. I was trying to choose a question here. It's a big. It's a big pick.
There's many people. Like, there's millions of people watching this.
I thought there was an interesting.
Why don't we put our TV programmes out on this
quickly.
instead of the telly? It's amazing.
There was a question there. It seems to have skipped by, but I thought it was.
They're going so fast. These are people just logging.
I know.
This is mad.
Brilliant, isn't it? But one of the questions was, how do you think our writing will develop? And we've said before, and in a way we've done it a little bit with Cemetery Junction, is we've moved more towards drama, and we've still got an eye on humour. We have to. It is funny, and we feel that we've got that off our chest for a little while now. And our next project, our next TV project, we're writing a sitcom together, written and directed by us, and it's called Life's Too Short, and it features Warwick Davis. It's sort of like a cross between Extras and Curb Your Enthusiasm and One Foot in the Grave, but with a dwarf. With a dwarf as the main. And that's out and out funny. I mean, that is more of an out and out comedy than The Office and Extras, actually. So we'll go back and forth, but we'd love to do a drama series one day, maybe an HBO style, you know, Wire, Sopranos, one of those sort of things. We don't know, is the honest answer. But the truth is, as well, is that people we admire, like filmmakers like Billy Wilder, or even Woody Allen, you know, they're able to do many different things. They've done dramas, comedies, you know, some of the best thrillers, some of the best comedies, and so they don't see that they have to pigeonhole themselves. And I think that it would be nice to not feel that we have to either. I don't think we do, and that's the problem with any sort of slight innovation. Initially, people aren't sure about it, and but then, you know, the truth will out, and I just think, well, we worry about how our work's perceived in 20 years' time as well, not just the month it's on the telly. So, yeah. Or in the cinema from this Wednesday. 14th.
On Wednesday the 14th.
Go and see Cemetery Junction. You'll love it.
You will.
Indeed. So it only remains for for us to say farewell to the fans.
Yeah, thank you, MySpacers, Interneters, Tweeters,
Spacers.
Twitters. I don't know what. Yeah. What, sorry?
Our Spacers.
Our Spacers. Thank you very much indeed, and appreciate you having so many questions for us. Appreciate the relative lack of abuse. That's been very sweet. A lot of it I've kept from you, Rick.
Yeah. Good.
And yeah, I hope you enjoy Cemetery Junction.
I like to think that everyone loves me.
Yeah. Bye.
They've speeded up.